as somebody who lives in the UK, what can you share with people stateside that the Tories and others were doing to basically smear Jeremy Corbyn in whatever capacity they needed to ensure that there wasn't a true progressive uprising that could have frankly spilled over, I think, all throughout the UK and throughout Europe and beyond. I am curious from your perspective. Obviously they did quite a job of painting him as an anti-Semite, among other things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still baffled at how they managed to like paint the probably like the most prominent anti-racism campaigner in the last 40 years in the UK as anti-Semitic. I'm still baffled at that, if I'm honest. But
it's like Cornel West here.
Yeah,
because they speak out against the state of Israel. That's all it is. And then once you do that, that's it. That's it. So I mean, anyway,
the thing with Corbyn was more based in the way they dealt with like accusations of anti-Semitism within the party, and then they really made a hash of it. But I never saw it as Jeremy Corbyn being anti-Semitic, and they just hammered it in the media like endlessly. Yeah. But he was just vilified from every angle. Like we have a very right-wing print media in Britain, and they still largely control the narrative. And I know that a lot of people are kind of talking about the death of mainstream media and how it's like losing influence and losing clout, but they still drive the news cycle essentially. If someone goes on CNN in America and says something stupid, or if someone goes on the BBC in Britain and they say something outrageous, that's it. That's all we're talking about. That they still like have that control of it. But Jeremy Corbyn was a really interesting issue. He got hammered for the idea that we could like spend some money on infrastructure, like you guys were talking about before I came on there, that we could print some money to benefit the country and invest in like hospitals, invest in like infrastructure upgrades, electrifying public transport, just things that would improve the country a little bit, and pump some money into like local builders and construction work and things that would benefit the country. And then they said no, you're a communist, you're going to crash the economy. And then I wrote a piece about in April, and I was like, right, okay, so modern monetary theory, you are going to get your go now. You get to see like how if this theory is rubbish or not, if this was just like all academic speculation, or if it was real. And we've kind of shown that even when it's not under the ideal conditions, because ideally in modern monetary theory, you'd want to print that money and immediately pump it into the economy, into like investing in infrastructure and like projects that are going to grow the economy. Instead, we've just been printing money and giving it to people to keep the country going while we deal with the pandemic. And yet all hell hasn't broken loose yet. There's probably going to be some inflation. Perhaps we can deal with that. I don't know. But, it hasn't been this mad, crazy, like just collapse of Western civilization that people printed it as. In the same way they painted like Bernie's proposals for like Medicare for all,
exactly.
or any kind of investment in, the country and not like Halliburton. And it's stunning to watch it happen, but I almost think we're reaching this point where if they go too hard, they don't quite. It doesn't ring true, and people sort of start to turn against it. And I think we're slowly getting to that point where people are waking up to the fact where when the entire media says something in unison, people go, "Hang on. Why are you all agreeing on this all of a sudden?"
I do think that messaging is very important, but the one thing we've been talking about lately is, big tech censorship is able to succeed because, unfortunately, the thing that independent content creators still haven't learned or understood is that as much as Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, they all have their way of doing business. But the second a pro-worker message starts, working class message starts to take shape, they all unify and crush it with everything they have. The thing that the independent media circuit doesn't understand is that while we do have our differences, we better figure out a way to break bread and check our egos at the door, because if we don't, this is going to turn into a nightmare that people can't even see yet. It's only getting worse. But if you want to combat corporate messaging, people have to unify across the globe. And it's certainly possible. I think Jen's done a great job. Obviously, the Assange telethon pissed off quite a few people. But
I got new haters. I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know.
Do they come with that new hater smell?
Yeah, of course. Well, we got tens of thousands of people that watched. We had a call to action about, basically bombarding the new Attorney General's office. In fact, it was actually working because one of the Senate switchboard operators got really pissed off and was like, I can't take this anymore. Stop calling my office. It's like, well, you know what? I hate to say it, but that's how you get stuff done. It's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, we did. I think what you and I had talked about, I was either planning I talked to you right before we did our Assange telethon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you see any of it? It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, Julian Assange is just like the most perfect example, because he had, like, okay, they've invented these charges, and the British government has arguably circumvented like international law by going into the Ecuadorian embassy and just dragging him out, which is horrifying. But like, aside from the kind of invented and then dropped charges, he's done nothing except print the truth, and people can't handle it. It's like the most cliched, it's like, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. It's like,
I was just
actually can't handle the truth.
It was actually a really great Hillary meme back in 2016 of, you want the truth, I deleted the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but Assange, like, people don't understand. And what's amazing is how the media message over the past 10 years has been so manipulated and contorted. And seriously, if you say things enough, it becomes the truth. When you ask the general person their thoughts about Assange, they'll still think of him as like a rape, like he was charged with rape. They go back to that ridiculous, that bogus Swedish charge, which we know was bogus, was shown to be bogus. But that, of course, didn't get the coverage that the original charge got. So it's like, Julian Assange is a perfect example of how they're closing in and coming together to just basically kill somebody for telling the truth.
The problem.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.